So very briefly, I'll tell you what you have in this presentation. Number one, different ideas on how to develop listening skills. These are just ideas to get you familiar with different possibilities and to help you get inspired and have your own ideas. So number one, Edpuzzle for interactive videos. You can add questions to a video as a while watching activity. It's very important to remember that you shouldn't have students watch a video without any purpose. Okay, they should know what to focus on. We're teaching a language. We are teaching, after all. We want them to improve their speaking, writing, listening, reading skills, vocabulary, grammar. So we need to be focused on what our goals are when having them watch a video, and they need to know that. Is it for understanding or recognition? And as you can see, I can insert questions so that they will check their understanding. So watch that Edpuzzle activity. Okay, here you have the link, and then think of how this could be used in class. What would you use this for? What would be the target language? What stage of the learning process would this be? Okay, so with Edpuzzle, what can you do? Upload a video on that platform. You create an account, you upload a video, or you find one on the platform itself from YouTube, okay, anything that suits you, and then you create it, you crop it, you add multiple choice questions or open-ended questions, you assign it, that is, you share it through a link, as simply as that, through a link, and then you can track, you can monitor your students' progress. Okay, so you can go to the toolkit section in our site, and you will find a detailed tutorial on Edpuzzle. There's also a presentation with lots and lots of screenshots for you to create your first Edpuzzle activity, if that's what you want to learn. Now, another idea. Here I found a public Flipgrid, a Flipgrid that was created by a teacher and was set public, so I can use it. So I had my students listen a few years ago, listen to at least 2 of the videos on making a difference. This is actually what the Flipgrid is about. And I had just ended a unit on people who have made a difference. So this suited me perfectly. And then they picked one, they shared their choice in writing. So here I combined listening with writing skills. Okay, after they had listened to this, they had to put their ideas together and write a paragraph describing what they had learned about, why they had, what the suggested change was. Okay, and then interact with each other. As a rule, I always like to create habits to have my students engage in current, in current events activities, for oral, for practicing oral skills, and for authenticity, for motivation, for relevance. So they do this once a week, once a month. They prepare, they find a piece of news, they read about it, or they listen to it. In a minute, I will show you sources where they can find this. And then while they share this orally and they practice their speaking skills, the other students engage in active listening. They don't just listen passively and do nothing or learn nothing, which is even worse, of course. So I have them fill in a table with a question they would like to ask about it, a thought association. One word, make this their own. Learn something from what you've just heard. One word you would like to learn or remember from this presentation, from this oral presentation, and one main idea. What's the main idea of this, of what you just heard about? Sources, resources, learning resources. Here, news in levels is fantastic. As you can see here, you have the same piece of news in for either level 1, the lowest one. I used this with 3 pointers in the past. Level 2 or level 3, all of them have the listening, the audio version. So you can have them read the piece of news or listen to it and even answer questions. There are lots of listening comprehension exercises here in this site. also for vocabulary, grammar. Another site for listening comprehension exercises on current events, ListenWise. Again, cute, very, very cute pieces of news told to the students orally, so they can listen to this. And as you can see, they have listening comprehension questions, and there are also topics for discussion in class. Another idea, use songs to practice listening skills. Here, I recommend you this platform, Lyrics Training, which has karaoke and games. I recommend you to explore it. It also has different levels for beginners, advanced, intermediate, lots of ideas, okay? As you can see, for example, they can get to this song, for example, and or any other of these songs perfect. For example, I can choose this one, and I can choose one of the, here I can listen to it, okay? Or I can actually learn the lyrics, listen to it while I, or play. Here, press here to start the game. There's a game, okay, maybe later, okay? You don't need play video to start the game. I don't need to create an account now, okay? Etc., etc. But I will stop it now so as to continue with the ideas that I'm sharing with you now, okay? So here's another idea, okay, of songs that can be used for teaching grammar, for example. This is a song that I would always use for the teaching of second types of conditionals. But what's most important is how this would be, how would this be integrated in a lesson, in a unit? At what point of the learning process would you include it? How could this be used in class? Think about it, think of ideas. Now, we won't listen to it now. Here's another one. This is another activity that I did with a UDALE 5-point class. We studied literature, similes, metaphors. What is a simile? What is a metaphor? They watched actually a TED lecture on both, and rather than have me explain it, they had to learn it from the video, respond to the questions on it. And then they had to find songs in which there is a simile or a metaphor, and include it here, explain it, okay, metaphor, simile, explanation, and also add the name and the link so that we could listen to it. And eventually we came up with a playlist of songs with similes and metaphors. Okay, so you can enter the link here and find another activity that I did. I first had them watch a video before I send them out to find songs of their own. They watched a video which has plenty of songs with similes and metaphors, and they had to spot them out and add them to this list. So that's another idea. So as you can see, I used Google Docs with tables. Okay, you don't always need to use digital tools that have been specifically created for listening activities. Okay, you can use another tool that as a support for what they did when listening to what to anything, to a song in this case. Okay, authentic videos worth watching. This is another habit that I would create in my classes. Again, to connect the learning to relevant material. Okay, always connect the learning, the topics that you find on videos with what is being learned in class. So if if we were reading a summer's reading, which is on education, and then I watched a video with Michelle Obama talking about education, I would use that in class. Now, with any video for this type of activity, you can have them always jot down 5 words they want to remember in a Padlet board, and this way, or 2 words. 2 words will do. One student, 2 words, another student, 2 words, and then they create a glossary, a vocabulary, a word wall. okay, with new words and how they are used in the video or how they would use them, okay? Another idea, jot down 5 things which you remember the most, which impressed you the most, okay? First, we focus on vocabulary, and now we focus on content. What do you want to remember from the video? And share it in class for oral discussion, okay? The same can be done with podcasts. Now, here's a video where my daughter actually introduced me to this TV series. And when I watched this video, which she urged me to do, I said, wow, this is perfect for reviewing certain type of conditionals. So I used this for the end, okay, when they had already learned the form they use for writing sentences, examples, drilling. Now I wanted them to use it for a whole situation, okay? So they watched this episode, they enjoyed doing it, of course, and they had to answer this question: what would have happened if Ted had not missed the plane? And give at least 10 sentences of what would have happened in a paragraph. Okay, start with, if Ted had not missed that plane, topic sentence, things would have in his life would have turned out completely differently. For example, he wouldn't have met blah, 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 and he wouldn't, okay. So they wrote a full paragraph based on what they had watched on How I Met Your Mother. So take just anything, authentic resources for situated learning of grammar. Podcasts. Here's an idea of a podcast which can be found on Learn English. Again, actually, you cannot see it now, but you can see it in the presentation that I added in this site. And above all, bottom line, remember to give while listening tasks. Never have students watch anything, listen to anything without a goal. Give them a goal, a reason to watch it, to listen to it. Have students focus on the target language, find 5 words, find sentences in the verbs, irregular verbs, okay, after having taught this, okay, or what do all the verbs be used here have in common for recognition at first. Connect the listening activities to the learning process in class as a whole, okay, always teach in a connected way. All activities leading to the achievement of one main pedagogical goal, not as an isolated activity, as a cute activity for motivation, and that's it. Okay, connect the learning, motivate them, and connect the learning. Use technology for resources and as supports. Above all, what matters the most is the design of activity, not the use of the tool itself. Your goal is not to use Flipgrid. Your goal is not to use Edpuzzle and wow your students. Your goal is to teach reading, to teach listening, to have students improve their English and enhance the communication skills. So thank you very much. I hope this has been of help to you to spark motivation. I will, in the second activity, I will want to hear your ideas on what to do to enhance speaking and listening skills. Bye-bye.